Hey guys, Joe here. If you know me, you know I really like the Maxpedition Micro. This is a wonderful EDC pouch. I have tons of pouches by tons of makers, foreign and domestic, some even made by friends. But I always end up coming back to the Maxpedition Micro. It just works for me. It's a really good layout. It's a really great price, great materials, and really great construction. I've had mine for years and it basically looks brand new other than a couple scuffs here, there, some marks. Other than that, very much cosmetic wear. It's still in perfect condition after all this time. And I really love this pouch. And recently, Maxpedition decided to say, what if we take this great pouch everyone likes and try to push the envelope a little bit further? What if we make it a little bit more pocket friendly? And that's where we get what we're looking at today, the Maxpedition Pico. You can see it is very much a similar concept. It is a small little pouch, but it's just been downsized with a couple little tweaks to make it a little bit better for everyday carry for folks that just want to throw something in their pants pocket, particularly a cargo pants pocket, or if you pack it right, even the front pocket of your jeans. So let's get into it. The Maxpedition Pico, this was sent to us for testing and review, so we got to assume, it was hand selected. We will test this longer to do a proper review down the road if you guys are interested. But this is something I will admit, if they hadn't sent it to me, I would have just bought it on my own because I like the Micro so much. And this does something I really wish the Micro had done for me earlier for all those years, was fit better in my front pocket. This is coming in right around, I believe, $23. That will go down on sales. As I always mention, Maxpedition does a lot of sales, not only on their own website, but on Amazon, making it convenient for everybody. And if you go through their website, they often do buy one, get one deals. So you could buy two of these and basically get each one half off. So if you end up really liking it, you could use it for multiple kits in your setup, or buy one for you, buy one for a kid, a friend, whatever. And you end up getting a really awesome pouch. It's going to last you a really long time for a really great price. In terms of the size, we are rocking about a 3x5, but as you pack it out and it expands depth, it's going to shrink a little bit on the side, so just keep that in mind. In terms of depth, they list it at around an inch, but right now I've got mine packed out to about 1.5 inches. It can fit some pretty bulky gear, deceptively so, despite being so small, and it is incredibly lightweight, which is really nice, despite being so well built. We've got, I believe, 500D nylon. We've got YKK zips. The front pocket in this even has a reinforcing stitch on it to make sure it doesn't tear out. We've got a Velcro patch area here, a 2x3. So this just happens to be the nearest patch I have. It's going to fit your standard stuff. You want to have like a fire kit pouch, or you want to have a pouch with your name on it, blood typing, whatever. You can do that and throw that on here. It's really nice. In terms of kind of the purpose of this, as I already kind of mentioned, it's a pocket organizer, so to speak. It can go in your bag perfectly fine, but it's meant to be a little bit more pants pocket friendly than the Micro. Now, I used to carry this in my pocket, but it was definitely bulky. It was definitely obvious, but I was in the outdoors field at that time, so it didn't really matter. But for everyday carry, a little bit too much bulge in the pants pocket, especially if you're wearing skinny jeans. This is a little bit better tailored for that kind of carry, and it can fit basically all of your standard EDC needs. Now, on the outside, other than that Velcro pouch area, patch area, it's basically the same as the Micro, and on the inside it has a very similar layout to the Micro. There is the Pico on your left, and if I unzip my Micro, which I took some of the tools out for this video, you can see very much a similar idea. You have a 3 elastic and then 2 elastic and then 2 slip pockets in the back. You have a little ringlet area made out of paracord where you can attach something like keys. So the real difference is mostly coming from the size with this pouch and then the patch area on the back. Everything else is darn near identical. Now, because of the smaller size, you are going to be a little bit limited on some gear with the elastic loops. On the left here, I have just some chapstick, a pen, this loop right here in the middle. It's basically exclusively for a pen. You're not going to get much else in there. This is a pocket pen. It'll fit a Fisher Space pen, the bullet. Anything that's going to be like under probably 4.5 inches is going to be your best bet for that pen slot. You can fit a mini Bic, maybe even a larger Bic if you really want to push it, those kinds of things. Over here on the right, you have those bigger elastics to fit more standard sized tools. Right here, I have an Ontario Rat 1, and I have a Streamlight Micro Stream. In the back, I have just some cordage, some duct tape, and a wet wipe. But you can actually fit some larger tools in here. I saw on someone else's video they asked about whether they could fit the SOG power pint. You can. It's a little bit tight, but it can get in there. However, because the power pint is so thick, that also means you can fit something bigger like the rebar from Leatherman. Again, it's a little bit tight. You got to put it in there just right. The locking bars will catch on this, so you got to slip it in this way. But you can fit what I would call a full-size multi-tool in here just fine. Now, what will be more of a struggle is a Leatherman Wave. It's a little bit thicker. You can force it, and I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really, really want to get a wave in there, you can. However, you got to remember, the more stretched out this is long term, the more it's going to warp and lose its kind of elastic properties. You're going to wear it out much sooner. And you can see here, I'm kind of struggling to get it out because the lock bar here is now catching on the bottom and it's a little bit too wide on the top. So you have to kind of awkwardly force it through to get the wave out. So if you're going to go with a plier-based multi-tool, I wouldn't go bigger than something like the rebar. I think the Leatherman Bond would work as well, but you can go with a micro one like this. A Gerber dime would be even better. In terms of Victorinox, I probably would keep it at a 3-layer tool like this Tinker or less. You can get 4 layers in there, but again, you get, you know, some durability issues that'll come up in terms of overstretching this, but also you got to also think about the thickness, because that tool will also go against these tools. The taller this tool is, the bulkier this is going to be, and eventually you're going to just max out what the zipper can zip around. So do keep that in mind. In terms of this back pocket, as long as you don't put anything super bulky in here, you can fit, you know, bigger items like a Fresnel lens just fine. You can fit even an extra small moleskin in here. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but you can do that. The pocket on the front I found is just a little bit thinner than the pocket in the back. So this can fit in here just barely. It cannot fit in here much at all unless all these tools are out. So just keep that in mind. As I mentioned, the more you put stuff in here, it'll kind of want to contract, and that'll impact what you can put in those slip pockets. So overall, this is a pretty nice setup. You can get some pretty decent, you know, different kits out of this. You can do a little bit of like a boo-boo kit here. You could do just your standard EDC loadout. Like, you know, I had in here, if I bring those back in, a knife, a light, a pen, a lighter, chapstick. You can put some stuff in there. You could even put, you know, maybe some cards in the back and cash and have this be your tool wallet, so to speak. I think something like what we already talked about with the platy front pocket would be better for a wallet alternative, but you could do that with the Pico if you really wanted. The only drawback with this is because of how tight it is once you get some tools in there. I've gotten this to bulk up even as much as my Micro with certain tool layouts. This front pocket quickly becomes unusable. Right now, just with what I have in there, I can get 2 fingers in there, which means maybe a challenge coin or something. Maybe I could even fit potentially a Gerber dime in there, a classic SD from Victorinox. But if I want to fit something like my lighter in there, you know, it's a little bit of a struggle. It's not going to be convenient. I can get it in there, but it's not going to be really nice to get in and out. And then that also makes it super bulky. So you're going to be kind of limited on what you can use the front pocket for. And then the other thing I would count as a downside is that Velcro patch area for front pocket carry. I don't know a lot of people that are actually using patches on pouches in their pants pockets, because every time you take it out, as long as you're actually using your gear, that's a lot of wear on those patches. You're going to destroy some pretty cool stuff very quickly, very prematurely, versus throwing this in a pack. And then on top of that, if you don't use patches, this is going to wear down pretty quick, the fuzzy Velcro, so to speak. And so you'll end up causing damage no matter what. You're going to end up prematurely wearing this, or you're going to end up prematurely wearing your patches. I kind of wish they just removed that for this version, and then, you know, let people use other things for using their patches like they do with their bigger pouches. They have patch areas. That makes more sense because those go in backpacks. This is kind of more of a pocket pouch. I'm just not a patches on pouch kind of guy. So other than those 2 things, which are probably minor gripes for most people and probably a minor gripe for me, to be honest, I think this is pretty good. This is really awesome. It's probably not going to get me to stop using the Maxpedition Micro. It's not a replacement, but I would use these in concert with one another. I'd probably be more inclined to throw this in my bag, more inclined to pack this super thin and light for going in my pocket and kind of using them together. Or if I want to do like a mini boo-boo kit and a fire kit or something like that. I think they complement each other really well. I'm glad they're kind of focusing more on EDC over at Maxpedition and coming out with stuff like this, like the platy front pocket organizer. I think this in, say, your right pocket in your platy wallet organizer in your left, you're going to be more than set for EDC. I think it's really cool that they came out with these 2 pouches. Wonderful, wonderful compliments for each other and the rest of the lineup. So the Maxpedition Pico pretty darn cool. And at just over 20 bucks before sales, I think that's a very fair price. So we're going to keep testing it. Let me know if you want to do a long-term review. But overall, this is pretty gosh darn cool. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay informed.